Hey everyone, this is Dan Kamenstein. So I thought I'd go through a quick revision to the project cards, again, based on your feedback. I made a couple tweaks to the flow sheet, and that updated flow sheet I'll send out to you in the link to this video as well. So the issue we were having last time was that the students weren't completely filling out the project cards, but then also we had a little bit of issue just kind of getting the cards to flow through this pretty complex algorithm. So I broke down the banking role into two separate roles, and I updated the video on kind of that role as well, so you can access that in that whole list of kind of intro videos that I created. But essentially, things are going to be pretty much the same. The main difference is that at the point of submission, the students will only interact with the banker, but then the banker is going to have extra help to kind of push the project card through. So I think I'd just start from the beginning again, because this is definitely the most kind of convoluted area of the simulation. So students are going to have to upload the filled out project cards, and I have an example here again of a project card that is filled out correctly. I'm going to make another video to the students just to emphasize this. But the cards have to list the names of the groups that are contributing. They have to list how much each group is contributing in the appropriate category. They have to have the title correct and full title of the project here. So we got into a couple issues where they were abbreviating and we weren't sure what they were abbreviating. So I'm going to ask them to type in the full title of the project that comes off the project cost sheet, and then make a mark where they want the project to be built. Again, all this can be done in an editable PDF version that any program can handle. The other thing I'm asking students to do is title this with the full title of the project and then dash first letter of each organization so that we create a unique code for each project. So this they upload to Teams. They then send a message, they say @banker, and they also copy and tag all their collaborators using the banking communication channel. So that goes to our banker, and that would be Dr. Powell. And so she will just basically wait for all the collaborators to agree. So before I had basically that she would text all of them, but essentially what I'm going to tell the students is you have to keep an eye out. And this is again a public channel, so anyone else from their team can help them with this process. But when they submit that, she's going to wait for all the other 2 or 3 people involved in that project to say, yes, I agree. Once everyone agrees, she will then forward the card on to the banking manager. That's Matthew Homan. So Matthew will be responsible then for taking the card from the initial channel here once he's notified that everyone's agreed, and then he is going to copy the link to the card and then send it to the financial analyst in the banking admin channel. So that way, Dr. Powell really just is responsible for monitoring the incoming projects and moving them along once all collaborators agree, and making sure just that the cards are filled out. So the students should upload them as PDFs, and I'm going to emphasize that to the students as well. They upload them as PDFs. Dr. Powell just checks, make sure that they have names on them, and they've identified organizations, and waits for everyone to agree. If someone says they don't agree, then the banker then replies to that thread and says this project has not been approved, and then it doesn't get passed on to the banking manager. Once the banking manager has it and then sends it to the financial analyst, the cards move just like they did before, in which case the financial analyst then checks the cost against the project cost sheet and makes sure that each group has enough resources left on the tally board. So Amanda will then first check and make sure that they've done their math correctly. So she'll look at the project cost sheet and say, okay, well, this project costs X amount. And again, I went through that in the other videos. And then do they actually have the resources? So if they either did their math wrong and they didn't have enough money, or they had too much money for the project, or if one of the organizations doesn't actually have the resources, she will reject the project. She then notifies the banker that the project's been rejected. The banker then goes back to that group and says this project has been rejected. The new unique codes should help us keep track of which projects we're actually rejecting. So if she rejects it, Dr. Powell should be able to go back in the text flow or in the chat stream of Teams and find that project title, because the project card will have that project title. Find that project title and say, please be aware that this project has not been approved. If it is approved, then it goes to the tally board operator. Again, the tally board operator then subtracts those resources from the tally board, then sends it to the map operator, and the map operator then will place the project on the map. So pretty much the same process. We've just added a little bit more of tagging so we can uniquely identify each project card a little bit more easily. And we've also added a banking manager here who can kind of take the cards from one channel and then move them to the other channel. The banking manager also will be the one responsible for, once it's sent to the financial analyst, the banking manager is then responsible to make sure that card kind of moves through the system. And so if there is an issue where it gets hung up somewhere or someone's not sure, then the banking manager kind of is keeping track of all the projects that have gotten approved and are moving through, and kind of can help us keep track of that. So quick update, a little bit of a change. Hopefully that helps things flow a little bit smoother this time. And again, thank you for all your help with this.